Let's make these simple, beautiful cards together. Hey everybody, welcome to A Bit of Birdsong. My name is Lynn and I am out in my workshop that I refer to as Paper Town. I've been wanting to make a few cards from this pack of kind of do-it-yourself note cards that I found at the thrift store. Matte white note cards, heavyweight cards with premium print quality on both sides. I'm not going to print on these, but it's still quality paper to do things with, like dyeing and staining and that sort of thing. Now, the way these cards work, and there are different kinds. I've seen cards where you do the whole sheet of paper and fold it one way and another so that the paper's kind of doubled up. This was perforated so that the page would tear in down the center, and then you end up with two cards that are scored and they fold, if that makes sense. I hope it does. I went ahead and coffee stained all of these cards, and sometimes it's hard to see the fold until you actually start folding. I think that one might go that way. I'm not sure if it matters, but it seems like for some reason these fold easier in one direction than they do in the other direction. Maybe that's just my imagination. But let's go ahead and fold these. I've already completed one card. I put my birdsong stamp on the back. On the front, we have just a simple formula for making a pretty card. We have a piece of handmade paper to go on the front. And then I am using some sort of die cut. I will probably use flowers, butterflies. And then I'm taking a vintage slide mount or these transparencies, taking the transparency out and putting a piece of vintage dictionary page behind that, preferably one with a botanical or flower, bird, something like that. And these just pull out. Some are easier than others, and it's okay if you bend the slide mount a little bit, or this cardboard, whatever you want to call it, transparency holder. I don't know what these are really called. I've always called them slide mounts, but I think that could also be the glass things in chemistry or biology. Anyway, if you know what these are called. That's a very cool slide in this one. It happens to be botanical, but that's not going to show up just laying it flat on a piece of paper. So I will hang on to that and do something with it. That one was very hard to get out, and it tore the corner. Bent this a little bit, but that's okay. These are vintage anyway, so I'm not sure that it's that big of a deal. These are, let's see. For some reason, those particular ones are very hard to take out. I guess you could also cut these out, but it does seem like if you could just get it to start sliding, they do slide out pretty easy. Let's try this one. Yeah. Why don't we go ahead and just make a card? It's just simple formula. Pick out which side of the card you want to be the front. Maybe we will use this side because you can see where one sheet of paper was on top of the other, and having this in the front is going to cover up that really sharp line there, and then we've got this pretty staining on the back. I like tacky glue. That's just what I like. That's my go-to. Everybody has their go-to glue, I think. So use whatever you like, and I tend to use a good amount of glue so that we definitely get staying power. Let's put this down, and then you can see the next step. Should have probably stamped it first on the back so that I'm not stamping layers on the front. But I think with this card, these layers are not going to be big enough and chunky enough to really make it come out uneven. And also, you want to think about the order you're doing things in as far as letting something dry. Like this stamp is going to take a little bit of time to dry, and I don't want to stamp it and then start working on it and smear the stamp on the back. So you can go either way. I could go ahead and stamp these and have these to the side so they can be drying while we're making this card, which would probably be the smartest thing to do. So let's go ahead and just put the birdsong stamp across the top of these. We will get those done. I like to make cards to be able to send out with orders. I try to send a card with every order. I try. Sometimes I buy cards that are already made and I will use those. I do create digital thank you cards on my computer and I print those off and send them out. Or I make cards like this, and it's going to be nice to have some cards made up and at my desk where I package everything, just sort of ready to send out. Okay, so that is all of those, and I will just have to remember to stamp this one at the end. The yellow is pretty with that. What else do we have? Got this sort of leafy, that would be pretty. And then if we put that in the center, I like that. I do like that a lot. Let's look through these dictionary pages and just see if we can find something that we want to use. Oh, okay. I like the bee. So go ahead and tear out enough to have this the way you want it. And you can cut the paper so that have a kind of a perfect size. You want enough paper to be able to glue it around the edge and have it stay. And I think that's good. So let's go ahead, and I want the plain side with the date showing. I don't want all these different colors. Now you can do it that way. There's no mistake if you use either side. Just use the side you like. And let's put that together. We will set that there. Turn it this way in case there's any glue peeking out. We don't want it to stick to the desk. And let's go ahead and get some glue on the butterfly. Put it right here. I don't want it hanging over the edge of the card because I don't want it to get bent when I send it out. So one thing I wanted to say, these kits come with envelopes to use. That said, when you start adding layers to a card, you can get it so chunky that it won't go into the envelope, in which case you can make your own or go up another size as far as an envelope. I do want to make some envelopes to put these in, and I will probably do that in another video. Okay, maybe move this up just a tiny bit. Okay, and now let's put some glue here on the back. Glue that down. Okay, I like that a lot. And what I was putting on the inside, and I am using Distress ink, so it is not waterproof. I do like the color of the Distress ink. I kind of wanted to go with something that looked distressed. Let's just make sure that this says, where there is joy, laughter, and color, fairies will be found. And I'm just going to stamp that right in the center. There, that looks good. And then we need to put the birdsong stamp on the back. And I don't want to mess up what I just stamped. I really didn't even put this in the ink, but I figured there would still be enough. So I'm going to put this one to the side. There's our first card. Very pretty. And let's go ahead and do, I can put this one to the side. That's the one that I had already made. Let's go ahead and start on the next one. So pick out a piece of paper. Look at this. This is paper that I made. And I don't make large pieces of handmade paper. I have a small screen that I'm using right now. I do want to get a larger one, like an 8.5 by 11. This one is probably more like a 5 by 7. But I love these small pieces. These are the types of crafts that you can use them for. I had several pieces of paper that I made, and then I ended up tearing those into smaller pieces, knowing that I was going to use it for these cards. Now I do have, what do we want to use? I do have a few more butterflies. That's too big. And I wasn't sure if I wanted the gold with the purple. Not that that's bad, but like that might be prettier with that one. Let's just see how some of these other floral cutouts look. Or punch outs, whatever you want to call them. Let's see how this one looks. But I don't know that that would go with the that purple either. I'm being really cautious. I don't want to tear the paper. I don't really want that. Maybe if we just go with some of the greenery, would that be horrible? I think that would be okay. I don't want to cover up all the purple. I also don't like sometimes this white, just plain white around the cutout, so I may trim a little bit of that off. It's where it's not perfectly, the lines don't go right up next to the color. It includes some of the white in the background. Okay. That'll be okay. Let's go ahead and do this one. I think that's fine. Jason and I watched something last night called Dark Angel. I had a story on Facebook. I guess not, it's not a person's story. It was a link to a long, like an article someone had written, pop up in my feed on Facebook. And it was about Marianne Cotton, who was a serial killer in the 1800s. And I started reading about that. I read the article, and then I started searching on Google just to see what else I could find. And lo and behold, there was a PBS masterpiece. It's a 3-part series about her. So we rented that last night on Amazon Prime. And it was kind of, I mean, I think it was good simply because we learned something that we really didn't know anything about. I had never heard of Marianne Cotton. And the lead was played by Anna, wait, is it Anna Froggatt? I'm not sure how to say her last name. She was in Downton Abbey as one of the head maids or whatever who married the butler who had a limp from being in the war. I wish I could remember her name. I'm not sure I'm saying it right. You would think I would remember her name after just seeing it last night. Or is it Joanna? Joanne? Anna? I'm not sure. Some of you might know. It was interesting. It was kind of a fast-moving thing. Like there wasn't a lot of character development, although the acting was really good. And it's like it just bounced from scene to scene to scene. But that would be accurate because her life was like that. And I don't know, you can leave a message in the comments if you've seen it and if you liked it. I'm glad we watched it. I would watch it again. Given the choice to say, do you want to see this? Yeah, I would watch it again. I'm not going to watch it again now, but you know what I mean. I don't regret watching it. Definitely learned some things about history and just science and the way things were in the mid 1800s. Really, really chilling, some of the stuff. And, you know, it was a reminder that people are people. Doesn't matter the time or what era of history. People were people, and they have feelings, and people are hungry, and, you know, people have pain. People love each other. It was a lot. Stamp that right in the middle. And there's just another sweet little card to go out. I love doing things like this, and maybe this will sort of get me rolling again as far as working out here after spending yesterday in the emergency room. But everyone was so nice. Oh my goodness, that was, we were treated very, very kindly, and I thought we were there maybe 5 hours. No more than 5 hours. It was less than 5 hours. And for the amount that was done, I don't think that's bad. That's not bad at all. Everybody was just so nice. Let's trim off some of that excess white in the background. Okay, I think that would be pretty with that. And we don't need we don't have to have 2 cutouts on every single one. These were smaller, so I put 2 cutouts on there. This one, the butterfly, was a lot larger, so I just went with that and that. 2 elements, I guess. But it's layers. It's the card, it's this background paper, and then it's some embellishments. You could come back and like ink around the edges of the card to distress it a little bit. Make sure I'm not smearing anything, you know. I'm just using the stamp pad here, but you could use a tool, one of those blenders or whatever. I don't even know what they're called, mostly because I never use them. So just, you know, that's pretty. You can do that. I like these. So that's what I have so far. I went ahead and put a nice amount of glue. It's not a flat surface, so we don't want the glue hiding in like a ridge and then not really sticking to the paper. And let's put this here. We have that and that. I might just do 2 on that one. Get one more piece cut off of the edge here that just is screaming at me that it's too white. I should leave well enough alone. Okay, let's find another. It's a little string and some petals that fell out of the flower. I mean the paper. Hello. Oh, there's a little bird. Let's see if we can get the bird. It's kind of big, so I don't know if we can get all of it in here, but maybe, yeah, that's cute, like that, just like that. Whatever. Tropic bird. Okay, so let's cut around the edges. And there we go. Go ahead and put glue on the back of the slide. And then just set that down right there. Need to adjust that a tiny bit. There, that's good. Let that dry. And then let's go ahead and put this down. Try to put a little bit on the little antennae or the wing, not the wings, but if there's legs or like a narrow stem, I do try to put some glue there to keep it flat and not get torn up. And then let's put this on the card. See, these don't take long. If you just get your supplies out and do it sort of in a mass making fashion, things like this don't have to take a long time. Let's put that there. March 79 W2. I wonder if that means it was 1979. There we go. Okay. And I will probably come back on these and distress around the edges. I might not. I think they're pretty just as they are. But my point is you can keep adding layers however you want to. Now, let's see. Don't know if I have enough paper to do every single one right now. As far as the handmade paper, let's see. I have this, this, and this. And then a few more cards over here to the left drying. But let's go ahead and do what we can. You can see where that edge had kind of curled up next to a place where it was torn. Okay, so let's do that. Get that in place. And you go ahead and pick out something to go in the slide. Here's a flower. Looks almost like an iris or something. That's not too bad, but it's so large. I want to see if I can find something. There's a tiny flower. I like that. Umbel. It's a part of a flower cluster in which a number of pedicels radiate like the stays of an umbrella. I like that. Let's do that one. Because you can easily see the illustration. You can see the name of it underneath and even a little bit of the description. So there's no rule. You just do what looks pleasing to the eye. Put that down. And let's go ahead and glue these pieces together. And maybe think of what we want to do for cutouts. Those pink butterflies don't clash. Oh, I like those. Okay, let's use these butterflies. Put this to the side. And let's put this one in place. And then this one. And now glue on this. There we go. Just like that. And our stamp inside. The joy didn't quite take. I didn't press hard enough. I was afraid I was going to get too much ink. You can still read it. I just didn't press hard enough on that end. But anyway, there's another one. And we have a couple more pieces of paper. seal edge with warm iron, do not touch film. I like that. I think we need to show that writing for sure. So let's do just these last two that we have the handmade paper for. Do I have any more? Oh, wait. I do. Look at this. 3 more. Oh, I have enough for all of these cards. I thought I had counted to make sure I had enough for every piece. What's wrong with me? Okay, put that down. That's a very thin piece of handmade paper. It turned out so nicely, just so delicate and thin. Very, very pretty. Do we have some flowers that we can use? I wonder how the gold would look. I haven't tried a gold one. It's actually pretty. What if we got this flower here? And you know, you could put the slide down first and then glue these over the edge. You just have to realize that they might have to bend a little bit because the slide is so thick. Like that, that's not bad. I do like that. Okay, let's put this back here and see if we can find another, the little shell. I wonder what that would look like. That's pretty, but it's so tall. A little bird. That's pretty. We don't have to get the whole... Ooh, I do like that. Okay, let's get that where we want it and hold it down. And cut right around the edge. There is a local show that I want to go to tonight. I don't know if I will, though. I've been through a lot in the last day. The doctor did tell me to try to take it easy for 48 hours. Of course, going to a show and watching music doesn't mean that I won't be taking it easy, but I love these girls. It's an all-girl group, and they just rock the house. And I know that everybody's going to be dressed up. A lot of people come out in costumes for this, and it's going to be so much fun. I'm afraid I'll just have to say I can't jump around and go crazy. I have to behave myself and just watch. Maybe I could yell. I can do some yelling. Now let's see if we put that there. I'm going to glue all these things down. I'm just trying to get the placement like I had it before. It's hard to tell sometimes exactly where you had something. I mean, the general placement is easy, but then the details sometimes can make a huge difference. Let's get right up under there. That's not bad. I think that was up some. I like that one. And all of that is going to dry, so don't worry too much about that. Let's just get our stamp in and put it to the side. There. Those are pretty. Aren't they pretty? I like them anyway. Can you see them all? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That fabric would be pretty. Something to think about. Oh, let's see, 3 more. So this time, wait, is it just 3 more? 4 more. Let's do this. Okay, got all these. Can put my envelopes to the side because I'm going to use those for something else. And some of these slides were just sort of sciencey. There's really not anything interesting. That's got some kind of botanical image and a quote inside. I'll hang on to those 2. Now let's go ahead and put all 4 pieces of paper down. Okay, we have those 4 things. Let's go ahead and make sure that we have... Oh, I think I just discovered something. I have a couple more. These are sciencey. I love that it says AGA Teaching Project. I just realized if you pull from the side, there is so much less glued into underneath the paper. Like, it's not as wide of a piece that's been glued underneath those 2 layers. So much easier to pull out. I guess I had forgotten about that. Now let's go ahead and find some images. I don't think we want a brain. Oh, that's a good one. Look at that thistle. That's just perfect, especially with the purple. Okay, I had to grab just a few more pages, and this is actually from a different dictionary, and I love the bees, the butterflies, the moths. I think they look really good with this type of thing. If you notice, here's my scissors, these are rounded, these slides, which is really pretty, but then you have to be more careful cutting so that you don't have paper, you know, a sharp corner of paper sticking out. It's not really hard. It's just a little detail that might make a difference in how everything looks. So another rabbit hole that Jason and I have started traveling down at night before we go to bed. Sometimes we just lay there and watch videos on YouTube of people getting arrested and how crazy they act. I've never in my life, and a lot of it is women just screaming and kicking and biting and, you know, first of all, driving like maniacs because they're intoxicated, sometimes even with children in the cars. It's just, oh, look, that's a tsetse fly. I'm not sure I should have put that in, but that's okay. This is the teaching project, so we need that. And what is this? Some moths, and even though they're beautiful, they're really pests, which I'm sure you already know, but we saw a news article recently about, and it was a local thing, if you see a certain kind of moth, even though it's large and beautiful, to kill it, because they're very invasive and they are killing local, I think it was other local insects or something that were beneficial. I don't remember what kind it was. I just remember thinking, oh, how sad. And yet, you know, let's go ahead and glue this one in. I'm all over the place here. I need to go get my eyes checked. I thankfully have always had good vision. As I've gotten older, I've needed reading glasses, you know, just something even like from the Dollar Tree. But lately, I really feel a difference in my eyesight. And I know that I need to go get an actual eye exam. I've never had to deal with that much. I have had a couple of eye exams in my life. I don't know. I need to go. I really do. I got to figure that out. Not crazy about that red mark on there, but that's okay. I think we could distress it or work around it, cover it up, whatever. But I do love the way these slides end up looking with the botanical images in the background. And this one is a shell, like a seashell. And I try to move it so that I'm getting the open part of this slide to be full of writing and image, not just blank space. So that is pretty, I think. And then let's glue this one. So we'll just finish these up in a mass making style. Seems like you can get so much more done that way. Okay, we have our 4 slides and everything is stamped on the back in the right spot. You don't want to overthink things like this. So we have these pretty cards that I'm going to take inside to my desk so that I will have some things ready to go out. I like to send cards out with orders, and I think these turned out really pretty. Let me know what you think in the comments. I will be back really soon. Bye for now.